Cheese has a rich and fascinating history that stretches back thousands of years. Its origins are not easily traced to a specific time or place, but most scholars agree that cheese-making began as a method of preserving milk. Evidence suggests that the art of cheese-making was likely discovered by accident. Early human societies, particularly those in the Middle East and Central Asia, began domesticating animals, primarily sheep, goats, and cows, for their milk. The necessity of preserving perishable milk may have prompted these societies to experiment with different ways of extending its shelf life. The story of cheese, then, begins in a time before written history, when early humans relied on trial and error to develop the basic techniques for turning milk into a stable and edible product. It is believed that cheese was first created by nomadic herders, whose milk would have been carried in containers made from the stomachs of animals. These containers, which were lined with natural enzymes, would have caused the milk to coagulate, separating into curds and whey. The curds, once removed from the liquid whey, could be pressed and salted to make a more durable, transportable food. This process would have occurred around 8,000 to 10,000 years ago, during the early days of animal domestication. It is a theory supported by archaeological evidence and ancient writings. The first cheeses were likely simple, unaged forms that provided an important source of protein and fat for early human communities. The first concrete evidence of cheese making can be traced back to around 5500 BC in Poland, where archaeologists discovered pottery fragments with milk fat residues. Similar findings have been reported in other ancient civilizations, such as the Sumerians in Mesopotamia and the Egyptians, who left depictions of cheese making on their tomb walls. The Sumerians are known to have developed the earliest form of cheese production, which involved the fermentation of milk using natural bacterial cultures. In ancient Egypt, cheese was a valued food item, and it is believed that the Egyptians developed the technique of aging cheese to improve its flavor and texture. They also produced cheese in various forms, including soft, fresh cheeses and harder, more aged varieties. The ancient Greeks and Romans further refined the cheese-making process. The Greeks are credited with being the first to document cheese-making techniques, and they developed a wide variety of cheese styles. They made cheese from both sheep's milk and goat's milk, using the natural enzymes found in animal rennet to curdle the milk. The Greeks also enjoyed the cultural significance of cheese, incorporating it into their mythology. In Greek culture, cheese was a symbol of abundance and prosperity, and it was often used as a gift to gods and as part of ritual sacrifices. The famous Greek philosopher Pythagoras is said to have been a lover of cheese, and the ancient Greeks even had a cheese-themed festival called the Gastronomia. The Romans, known for their love of luxury and indulgence, took the Greek techniques and expanded on them. They developed more advanced methods of cheesemaking, introducing the practice of aging cheese to improve its flavor and texture. Roman cheese making was highly sophisticated, with different types of cheese being produced for different purposes. Some cheeses were designed for immediate consumption, while others were aged for long periods of time to create complex, rich flavors. The Romans also created cheese molds, which allowed for the shaping of cheese into different forms, further contributing to the variety of cheeses produced. Roman soldiers, traveling far and wide as part of the empire, helped spread the practice of cheese making throughout Europe, North Africa, and parts of the Middle East. As the Roman Empire fell and Europe entered the medieval period, cheese continued to evolve, though the production of cheese became more localized. Monasteries played a central role in the development of cheese-making during the Middle Ages. Monks, particularly in France and Italy, became skilled cheesemakers, developing many of the cheese styles that would come to be known as the foundation of European cheese culture. The Benedictine and Cistercian monks were particularly influential in refining cheese-making techniques and preserving the knowledge of cheese production. They were the first to experiment with different types of milk and the effects of varying climates on the aging process. One of the most significant innovations of this period was the development of blue cheese, a product of the fermentation of cheese by specific types of mold. By the time of the Renaissance, cheese making had become an established industry in Europe. The popularity of cheese grew as a result of the increased trade and movement of people. The establishment of the first cheese markets, such as the famous cheese market in Gouda, Netherlands, and the creation of new cheese varieties, helped spread cheese-making techniques across Europe. The Industrial Revolution, which began in the late 18th century, brought new methods for mass-producing cheese. However, these methods initially resulted in a decrease in the quality of cheese as the focus shifted to quantity rather than craftsmanship. It wasn't until the late 19th and early 20th centuries that the balance between traditional methods and industrialization began to stabilize, with innovations such as pasteurization improving the safety of cheese. Cheese reached the New World in the early years of European colonization. As settlers moved to the Americas, they brought with them their cheese-making traditions. In the United States, for example, cheese production began on small farms, but by the 19th century, it became an important commercial enterprise. The first cheese factory in the U.S. was established in 1851 in New York, and cheese production quickly expanded across the country. As immigration patterns brought new waves of European settlers, particularly Italians, Germans, and Swiss, new styles of cheese, such as mozzarella and Swiss cheese, became common in the United States. The 20th century saw cheese production become increasingly industrialized. In response to the growing demand for cheese, especially in the post-World War II era, large-scale factories were built to produce cheese in vast quantities. Innovations in refrigeration, packaging, and transportation allowed cheese to be mass-produced and distributed across the globe. While this period saw an explosion of processed cheese products, traditional cheese making also experienced a resurgence. Artisan cheeses, particularly those made by small producers using traditional methods, began to enjoy a renewed popularity as consumers grew more discerning about food quality and authenticity. In the modern era, cheese has become an integral part of the culinary tradition worldwide, with hundreds of distinct varieties produced in almost every country. The diverse range of cheeses, from soft, creamy brie to sharp, crumbly cheddar, from tangy goat cheese to pungent Roquefort, speaks to the creativity and ingenuity of cheesemakers throughout history. As the global demand for high-quality cheese has increased, many countries have sought to protect the integrity of their traditional cheeses by establishing quality standards and certifications. The European Union, for example, introduced the Protected Designation of Origin (PDO) system, which ensures that only cheese produced in specific regions can bear certain names, such as Parmigiano Reggiano or Roquefort. The evolution of cheese making continues today, with modern techniques and technologies further enhancing the production of cheese. At the same time, there is a growing interest in returning to traditional, artisan methods of cheesemaking, as consumers seek authentic, flavorful products that reflect the rich history of cheese. Whether produced on a small farm or in a state-of-the-art factory, cheese remains a beloved food item that continues to connect people to their cultural and culinary traditions. The history of cheese, from its humble beginnings as a way to preserve milk to its status as a culinary luxury, is a testament to human ingenuity and the desire to improve the quality of life through food. Through the ages, cheese has been made by countless generations of people, each contributing to its development in ways both large and small. Today, cheese stands as one of the world's most versatile and widely consumed foods, enjoyed in every corner of the globe. The legacy of cheese is not just about the products we eat, but also about the enduring human connection to food, culture, and tradition. Don't forget to subscribe for more exciting videos. Stay tuned for fresh content every week. Hit the bell icon to never miss an update.